Hey everyone, this is Paul with 360 Stocks, and I am really excited today to present to you some information about the Nasdaq Composite Index. I'm going to be using two ETFs to help describe this today. One of them is the TQQQ. You can see, you could hardly even tell that I switched from the Nasdaq to the TQQQ. These charts look very similar, and I'm also going to be looking at the SQQQ, which is the inverse of the TQQQ. So get ready. We're going to learn about this patterns that we're observing here. I do want to say none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not invest based on this video. This is just entertainment. So with that, let's get started. First, we're going to talk about the Nasdaq Composite. This chart is a 1-month candle of the Nasdaq Composite. Each candle represents 1 month of time. And you can see on here, the first thing you observe is that there is this green band in here. This yellow line is the 8 moving average, and the green is at the bottom line is the 20. And the shaded green means the 8-month moving average is above the 20-month moving average. We can see here that about June of 22, the 8 moving average dropped below the 20 moving average and began trending below here. Now, when we go back in time from 2022 in history and we look back, and here we are in 2017 and here we are in 2016, you can see that prices are above this 8-month moving band, and the band is green for all of this time, all the way back here, all the way to the start of that band, which was 2009. At that time, the Dow Jones Industrial was at 2,027, and today's price of the Nasdaq, not the Dow, today's price of the Nasdaq is 10,321. So we have the prices when we started back here of the cross of 2,000. We know it's at 10,000 today. That is a 5-fold increase of the Nasdaq from back then. Okay, so now before that we had this dip, which was the 2008, 2009. This was the big housing bubble, the failure of subprime mortgages. Looked pretty bad there when prices went from this level here down to here. And then prior to that, we had a run-up from 2003 all the way to 2008. Prior to that, we were in this 2000. This was the dot-com bubble, as they called it, where the Nasdaq got all the way up to way up here to 5,132 before falling all the way back down to a low here of 1,108. Wow, what a fall that was. Spectacular fall. And then prices rose going forward. Now, I'm going to go back just a little bit more in time because I think it is an interesting time in history. And this was roughly here. We started in 1991. We had a little recession here in 1990. And here is the first candle that was above the 20 with the 8 above the 8-month moving average above here. And that went from the Nasdaq right here was at 483 was the high of that candle. And that rose all the way up here to 5,132 on the Nasdaq Composite. Quite a move. Okay, let's fast forward back to today. Today we're going to use the TQQQ and the SQQQ to zoom in on some activity that's going on in here. So I'm going to switch tabs over here, and now you're going to see the Ultra Pro QQQ in the 1-month view. And you can see over here in this little area, in the 1 month of this month, the volume was 4.4 billion shares. This is an extremely active ETF, the TQQQ, and it is, I believe, the most active traded security on the exchanges here in the US. And then its counterpart, which is the inverse, is the SQQQ over here. And last month it traded 3.2 billion, so also extraordinarily active for the month. And we now see that SQQQ is beginning this trend above the 8-month moving average, and TQQQ on this one is trending below the 8-month moving average and the 20-month moving average, and the shading is turned red because of that. Okay, so just in case you need a little bit more about the TQQQ, here is a site that says TQQQ is a leverage fund that delivers 3 times only over a one-day holding period of Nasdaq 100 stocks. And likewise, the SQQQ here is an aggressive take on large cap space by inverse 3 times of the Nasdaq. So that is a little bit more about those two things. Okay, we're going to go back here to the TQQQ because what I really want to do is zoom in on a little bit shorter time frame than months, because most of us have a little bit shorter time frame. So let's look at the 1 week trend of the TQQQ, and we see that TQQQ crossed here in January of 2022, and in January the weekly 8 started trending below the weekly 20, and that has been in the red shading since then. Prior to that, we see that it was green quite a bit of time. There was this particular dip here in 2020, and then we had a very nice run up, and now things are trending lower. Now let's look at the same thing on the SQQQ. So we're going to go over to the weekly on the SQQQ and compare this, and we see that beginning in February 2020, SQQQ began to climb above the 8 here. We're below. Here it is above again, and then we're below, and here we are again above. Now these are called pivots, and one thing that we're observing is that this pivot is low, this pivot is a higher low, this pivot is a higher low. That is an interesting trend that seems to be happening with the SQQQ. Let's move to a daily view on the TQQQ and see what's happening on the daily look. Now, in daily terms, beginning in August, at the end of August, we see as TQQQ rolls over and the 20 is falling. Now, each one of these candles represents 1 day of trading on the TQQQ. Today is Friday, October 14th. It was a big red down day. Yesterday was a major update for the TQQQ. This was a pretty surprise move when the Fed, in some inflation numbers were announced. There was a big rally, and then today a sell-off. Okay, now in terms of SQQQ for a daily chart, let's go to the 1 day on that, and we see that SQQQ began to go onto the green area here beginning in late August, and it has been trending in the daily trend above this green area. This was the big candle yesterday that happened, and then today it was a big Friday, October 14th was a big update. So I think everybody kind of gets the picture here. We have the TQQQ, but let's go ahead and look at the 1 hour since we're here. So we're looking at the 1 hour, and on Friday, Friday the 7th of October, prices moved to the lower side here of the 820 band, and then on today, this is a 1 hour. Each candle represents 1 hour. We had Thursday's move up, and then beginning on Friday in the 1 hour charts, things were moving down. Okay, so that is the presentation on the Nasdaq and kind of the big picture here of where are we with the Nasdaq Composite Index. And we have these charts of TQQQ and SQQQ. Again, here is the monthly view looking at this. And so I hope you gathered something from this. Again, this is entertainment purposes only, but I would really appreciate a like if you like this video, and subscribe if you'd like to have more videos like this. This is Paul, and I will see you next time. Thanks again.